today that you have 1.5 million followers. And one of the things with my podcast was I was like, I'm not going to bring people based on followers. I'll bring anybody who's willing to be like open and honest and like vulnerable and have conversations. I'm cool with it. Like, come, let's have a conversation. Okay. But then when I saw that you had so many followers, I was like, damn, I really want to ask her about that, because I'm like, I wonder if like it feels weird, like to have so many people watching you all the time.
It does. It's really unnatural, to be honest with you.
How do you deal with it? Because I remember when I first put out my first song with Catchy and I got like a little bit more, like a few thousand followers, instant panic attack. Like, why are so many people watching me? Yeah, that's part of the reason why I stopped.
Well, I feel like I'm very dissociated, because it's not like we walk in the streets and people are like, oh, this is her. You know what I mean? It's not like we live in Canada, right? I'm not in Iran. So
why are most of your followers Iranian?
Yeah.
Are most of them
for
from
Madgal? You mean Yeah, that account is the one you were talking about. Yeah. So, you know, if we have some immigrants here, some Iranians here, they come and say hi, but you don't really live that life. So it's just kind of a number, you know, and you just know that they're there, but you don't necessarily feel the fact that it is.
You're a stronger person than I am. By the way, guys, this is my friend Madgal. She's on the podcast today. Welcome back to another episode of Inside Out Universe. Today I have my friend, a very special guest, Madgal. Before we get deeper into the conversation, I did want to kind of introduce her because she does a lot of things. First, what I know her from is she writes music, and she's also a musician. She's an artist. That's kind of how I became familiar with her, but now she's doing a lot of like ADHD coaching. She's an advocate for mental health. She has a lot of different platforms where she does a lot of different things, and I kind of got like more familiar with it for this podcast, but honestly I've been mostly like following you because of your music journey.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have her on because she's a dope ass person, and I need to make more female friends, so
I got you. I love female friends. They're my favorite type of friend.
I looked at my YouTube thing today and I was like, I've had 12 male guests and 5 female guests.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, this is not good.
We're going to be friends. That's why I'm here, to be honest.
I thought we were friends, to be honest. Because, like you know these people where you don't really know them, but, like, because you've talked a lot on social media, you're like, we're friends.
Yeah. You're online friends.
I don't know. Am I tripping? We're friends, right?
No, we're best friends. What are you talking about? We're besties.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And to follow the conversation that we were having before I rudely interrupted you to...
No.
Do the little, I just find it's better to do it that way, because when I do like a formal start, it's so much more stressful for everybody.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, it's more natural this way.
It's like, hey, I'm a nervous wreck, so we make it work.
Hey, I have anxiety, so
hello, friends.
Hello.
But yeah, so you said you kind of so because most of your music guests are like from like your Iranian.
Yeah. So
you don't get
like I walk in the streets and I do get recognized, but if I was in Iran, I would get recognized literally all the time. So, you know, so if you're an influencer in your own country, you feel the fame.
Yeah.
But we don't really, I personally don't really feel it.
Yeah.
But it is weird, the fact that so many people know you exist and so many people have opinions on who you are. And, I'm not gonna lie. It's really crazy. So I dissociate, you know?
Honestly, when I saw that and I saw how many, because I was talking about it with my boyfriend, I was like, babe, 1.5 million. I don't know if you've ever seen that video where it's like, okay, here's like a visual representation of 100 people,
yeah, that's
1,000 people, whatever.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of people. I'm not trying to make it. After this, you're like, okay, guys, I'm officially done with social media. Okay,
I'm close, so you might just push me over the edge.
But honestly, like when I saw that, it made me have a lot more respect for you, because over the years I have been following you, and like I do see your content, and obviously like it's social media, so not everything is real, and no matter who you are, you have a
persona.
Yeah, for sure. But like I was like, to be honest, given that she has so many followers and she does so many things and people know her for so many different things, she's so cool and like humble.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, every time I've talked to you, you're good vibes.
Oh, thank you. You too. Yeah, you're awesome, dude.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Look at us. This is why I need more female friends. Guys don't do this.
Yeah. Really?
No, guys don't really know how to compliment women, right?
They're rigid.
It's either they're flirting or it's just awkward. Is that not life?
That is life.
To be
That's
honest,
hilarious.
I was at the gym with my boyfriend today. I actually wanted to talk to you about this. It's so funny. This is a really random podcast, by the way.
No, let's just have a conversation and
I
we record
have
it.
ADHD, by the way.
You
I wanted
do?
to tell you that. Yeah.
Okay.
So like a mile a minute, 10. What is that thing they say about how fast your brain works?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have no
What
idea.
is it?
You're asking the wrong person.
I feel like a mile a minute is really slow.
Talking kilometers or something.
I have a lot of thoughts and they jump a lot. Yeah. But what I was going to tell you is today I went to the gym with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was the first time where he plays basketball a lot, but obviously I never watch. But I was like sitting, I was like, because it's like, I don't get it, you know?
Oh my God.
But I was sitting there and I was watching and I was like, guys are so interesting. Have you ever had a moment like that where you're like,
yeah,
men?
Yeah,
literally. There's
can't relate.
Enough said, just men.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think about it a lot.
Okay, can we talk about this? Because I was like, am I weird for thinking this?
No, they're very interesting creatures. Right? I do wonder how. I don't know. Just talk more so I can see where you're going with this.
So, like, for example, right? Like, we're watching, like, women have, like, a certain way. Like, obviously, these are not generalizations, like, in terms, like, people are different. But generally, women have, like, a certain way of, like, interacting with each other. We make friends differently, whatever. This guy just walks into a friggin' basketball court with, like, friggin' 30 guys. Like, hey, like, I'm gonna play this really stressful game where we make a lot of physical contact with randos. Oh walks in, 30 seconds later, they're best friends. They're playing this game. And then it looks like they're fighting, but they're not. And a couple times I had to be like, are you guys fighting? Dude. Like, yeah, so I was like, and then it led me to the thought which brought me here, where I was like, men are so interesting.
They're very interesting.
They're weird.
Sometimes I envy them. I feel like...
Why?
Have you seen this? Have you seen New Girl?
No.
Okay, so there's this TV show, and then in one episode, the girls are fighting, and then the guys are fighting. And when the guys are mad at each other, they, like, punch each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the girls, they have this whole process.
Is that the one where the girl lives with the guy roommate?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it. Love it.
Yeah.
I approve.
Yeah.
I like that show.
So I sometimes feel like, what would happen if we just punched it out? You know what I mean? Like,
if we just duped it out?
Do they actually do that? How does their brains work? It's very interesting.
I have a lot of guy friends, like generally since I was young, like most of my friends were guys.
Same, dude.
And I've been in a lot. I feel like I had the same conversation with Sahar. I feel like certain types of women it makes sense because it's easier for them to make male friends.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that way for me my whole life. I was always a tomboy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
But I don't see it that way when I'm interacting with my own friends because my own friends still treat me like a girl. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
That makes sense, yeah.
Like, they love me and they treat me like a friend, but obviously they're not going to punch the shit out of me.
Of course. I feel like when I was growing up, I had a lot of guy friends, but when I grew up, I stopped having guy friends. I feel like it always ends up with them flirting with you or wanting to be with you. I'm sorry to be that person. I'm not saying people can't be platonic, but I don't know. I'm a girl's girl, you know. I have a lot of, I am, girl. I have the hardest time finding my femininity. I keep feeling like I'm so disconnected. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Are you in your feminine? How to get in your feminine? I have a hard time with it, bro. I always feel like I'm always like talking like a dude and I hate it. I watch myself back like in a podcast or in a video. I'm like, I'm getting the ick. Can you stop talking like that? What is it? Like,
you asking me about femininity is crazy. Because
I feel like you look really feminine today. How did you do this? I want to know about your transition into femininity, girl. Tell me.
To be honest with you, like, it's not even one of those, like, I'm definitely the wrong person to ask. I'm, like, super not in my femininity most times. Really? It's a lot to do with, like, obviously, like, trauma.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
Then a lot of it also has to do with, like, the professions that I've always been in, whether it was, like in a career sense or, like, even as a hobby or as a passion. Like, when I did music, I rapped, so I was in, like, a male-dominated industry. Yeah. And then for work, I'm a lawyer, so again, like, male-dominated industry.
You're a lawyer?
This is so funny to me that you're like, I'm in your house, what is your name and who are you?
I actually asked her name because I didn't know her name. I'm not going to tell you, but That was crazy. So you're a lawyer?
Yeah.
You're so interesting.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you notice that something is different today, it's because it is. And if you notice that I'm a little bit off my game, it's her fault. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sitting in her seat.
Honestly, I rate it. But I love this so much. I love women who just say what they want. I love that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much it inconveniences me.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I'm not saying you inconvenienced me, by the way.
I know I did, and I'm okay with it.
No, honestly, you didn't, because this is good. I need to be outside of my comfort zone, because fuck am I doing in that chair all the time? I need to sit in this chair.
Yeah, you need to sit
and
all
just
around.
take what Madgal will give me, because this is a very special interview.
Jesus Christ. I need to drink, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's what the alcohol is for.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
It's a funny conversation. But yeah, so no, definitely I'm not in my feminine.
It's hard to.
You feel like you dissociate sometimes, or you generally are not in your feminine?
Define dissociation in this context.
Because like when you were talking about it, you were like, sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to bring my feminine out. For me, I'm like that most times. So I've come to the conclusion that I am just a more masculine female.
I think I am too. I even have a hard time defining what femininity is. What should it look like exactly? And I like it when I see it. I love a feminine girl. I love it when girls are in their feminine, whatever that means though.
But I'm gay, so.
Same too. You know what I mean? Oh man.
I can never talk to anybody nowadays where I'm like, am I gay? Or am I just like, is there something wrong with me? Like, because like sometimes certain times like my boyfriend, like when we first met, like his joke nickname for me was Rick Ross, because I'd have these like really like overtly masculine moments, and he'd be dying of laughter, and just like he would love like my sense of humor, but like it was still very masculine for him.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love a man who could just come to terms with the fact that like women aren't always like all like dainty and pretty and whatever.
Exactly. So I guess we shouldn't put a box around it either. But I'm not saying it because, you know, other people view femininity in a certain way. It's just for me, I have a hard time, you know, defining it for myself and finding myself within what it should be.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Who cares?
I don't know.
I think that's kind of where I'm at now, to be honest.
Yeah,
where
that's
it's
a
like,
good point too.
Who cares?
You gotta make peace with who you are, you know?
I think a lot of problems that we have right now, like in society in general, are because of these like very trivial like arguments.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like, it doesn't matter. Like if you're comfortable being who you are, just be who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I struggle with that too, because like growing up, like my dad was always like, oh, like, and these were conversations that I overheard him having with my mom. So like they broke my heart as a kid. Where he was yeah, for sure.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's
where
go.
he'd be like, oh, she's not feminine enough. Like I'm worried about her. All her friends are guys. Like what is happening and whatever. And my mom would be like, oh, like she's a kid. Like when I was a kid, all my friends were guys, whatever, this and that.
Yeah.
So I always grew up thinking like there's something wrong with me. You know, where I was like, okay, like, why can't I make friends with females like as easily? Like I hate when people say that, by the way. Females with the female gender. But no, sorry. But you know what I mean? Like it's hard for me to make girlfriends.
Oh, is it? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel awkward. I get awkward. Yeah. I don't know.
Tell me more about that. I'm actually
you really
curious.
are interviewing me today, though.
No, I'm actually curious. I want to know why that happens.
I don't know. I get awkward because I just like, I don't know if girls... Okay, let's be completely honest, okay? I'm not going to look at you when I say this because I feel like it'll be easier if I'm just staring at the floor.
Go ahead.
I don't know. A lot of times when I like talk to girls, I feel like I can't really relate to them because I'm not as feminine as they are.
Okay.
And I feel like they're judging me for it.
You don't feel accepted by them?
I don't feel accepted by them. And then when I do try to make an effort to like, because I do have a feminine side, I try to like relate. And then like it comes off too tryhardy and then I get too anxious. And then it's just like, okay, maybe they just don't like me.
What about your interests? Do you find it hard to find like mutual interests with other girls? Like topics of conversation?
Okay, you're a girl. What are some of your interests?
I do have interests that I have a hard time, you know, sharing with my girlfriends, like gaming, for example. I know there's a lot of girls who game out there, but none of my friends game.
I feel like you're the wrong person to ask. I feel like you should also be asking another person. I feel like you and I should both go and interview another girl and ask her.
No, the thing is, about the thing you said about you feeling not accepted.
Yeah.
I kind of get that, you know, and this happens in different contexts. It doesn't have to be this, but I feel like when I talk to a lot of people, what I get from them in friendships, especially in friendships between different women, is that you have to be a certain way to be loved. And if you're not, then you're not loved or something.
In friendships with women, right?
Yeah, in relationships too, but even in friendships with girly girls, you know, two girls, they go along perfectly with each other, but there's an inconvenience, and then they suddenly feel like, okay, I wouldn't be understood or I wouldn't be accepted. You know, that's kind of what you're feeling right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you see, that's not a real friendship. I feel like a real friendship and real love comes from, okay, I know you and I accept you as who you are. I don't need you to be anything else. But I think maybe growing up as someone who wasn't the most feminine, people have made it unsafe for you to be able to believe that or go into a friendship with that mindset to you. Like maybe your nervous system.
You're so smart.
Oh, thank you. Maybe your subconscious mind and your nervous system's like, oh, I'm not going to be accepted with these people. They're going to judge me. I can't be myself with these people, so I'm just going to not approach these people.
Okay, and to be honest, I think you're right, but a lot of it also, like, this is the thing, right? Like, whenever I've had these I've been reluctant to have these kind of conversations with people because nowadays, whenever you say things like that, it's like, oh, you're a pick-me. You know, so I'm kind of like, okay, I'm just not gonna. It's not fair, but it's a lot of it's I like hanging out with girls. Like I tell my boyfriend once a week, like I need more girlfriends. I want to do like.
Do you really like it?
I do like it. Like there is parts of my personality that I feel like never come out to play because I don't have female friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I do want to make female friends, but a lot of it doesn't have to do with me. It has to do with them in the sense that I feel like they don't enjoy hanging out with me.
Oh, that's
You know what I mean?
That's heartbreaking. I don't like that. I'm gonna be your friend. I don't like that at all.
But I have a lot of guy friends and they fuck with me heavy.
I know, I can tell.
My masculine defense mechanism instantly is like, I'm sick, don't worry about me. But no,
but like
I have a little bit of a tear in the eye, by the way, if you needed to know.
Oh, I want to hug you.
This is going great so far, by the way.
No.
I'm not at all nervous or sad.
No, you're okay. It's a safe space, okay? I love you the way you are. I do, yeah.
Do you at all feel that way?
What way?
Like
which part exactly?
Like when you just forget like girl or like man or woman or whatever, in your friendships with people, do you ever feel that way where you're like, oh, like I don't know if this I'm just trying to see if I'm okay.
No, I couldn't share everything with them. I would be misunderstood. Is that what you're asking me?
Or like wondering if like, oh, like if I'm like myself fully with this person, would this person still like me?
Yes, I would say, okay, so this is a whole journey, right? I've been there. I'm at a point where I'm okay with people not liking certain aspects of my personality, and yet I still demand love from them.
Okay.
So like it's like this. It's like, hey, you know, you're a whole person. There's going to be stuff about you that I don't necessarily love, but I still love you, you know. I'm going to have conversations that are not super interesting to me, but I'll do it for you because I love you. And hey, I might be boring sometimes and I might suck sometimes, but I deserve the same love in return. So I used to be in a place where I was like, okay, what if they don't like me if I show them who I am? And I still do feel that way because, you know, like people are different. We're complicated beings. Sometimes I want to talk about certain things that I just know that friend of mine, and I don't like it when I have to talk about something. When I see that you're not interested in it, I want you to be interested and engage with me, right? So I just still give it up sometimes. But, you know, I still try and put myself out there because I think I deserve to be seen. And if someone just, you know, makes me feel unseen, then that's not the right place for me to be. Because I think I try my best to be a good friend and hold space. Oh my God. Do you know the whole like Ariana Grande thing? Hold space.
Yeah, everything holding space. But okay, I don't know if hypothetically is the right word. When I hear what you're saying, I agree. Like I'm like, okay, this makes sense. No, I can't.
Yeah, because you've never had someone make you feel loved, despite the fact that you're a tomboy, a girl. I mean, not someone, but like a girlfriend who is like, you know what? I fuck with you the way you are. I think you're still feminine. I think you're a great girlfriend. Fuck yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that?
I've only had Sorry.
Sorry.
You're choking me up, man. Staring into like the distance. I've only had one serious as if it's a relationship. I've only had one serious girl best friend.
Oh, okay.
And that ended horribly.
Oh, that
horribly.
Sucks.
And it was just like, and I also like, you know what, it's inside out, I'll be honest about it. And also like when I was younger, when I was a kid, like growing up in a male dominated like household and not having my mom around, it made it more like conversing and building relationships with women became even something that was more like out of touch for me.
I get it.
You know?
No, that makes total sense.
So, like, I just developed certain mannerisms, too, and it's just, like...
I agree with you, and it's hard, because when you get hurt by a female that was supposed to be, you know, be there for you, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
It's also kind of hard not to fall into resentment or associate, you know, the feminine with that person who hurt you, because, I don't know, for me, my mom was the first woman I knew, right?
Yeah.
So... when you're growing up and you see that, it's like, women are like that. Women are like this. And it's, you got to grow up and you got to regulate those emotions and you got to like think differently. You got to, it's complicated. I think our relationship with our parents, especially with our moms, really plays a big role in how we connect with our femininity and with other people's femininity. And I also think that part of why I'm more masculine in nature is because my father was the stronger parent, you know.
Mine was too.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to subconsciously be like him. So I lost touch and I don't know how to be feminine because I didn't have the best feminine figure to learn from. I learned from the masculine, you know.
I'm going to think about that at 4 a.m. But I always attributed that to my dad.
What do you mean?
I attributed me being this way to my dad.
Well, yeah, you learned to be masculine from him, right?
So some people, I know this is a funny way of talking about it, but whatever. Words are words. Some people will be like, oh, I have mommy issues. Some people will be like, I have daddy issues. I have both.
Okay, yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, I hope they cancel each other out. You know what I mean? So I was like, I hope that...
Only if, you know right? What I mean? Only if.
It's the least the universe could do for fucking me both ways. You know what I mean? Like...
Oh god.
But like I always attributed to my dad. I was like, my dad wasn't like a gentle parent with me. And I don't mean gentle parent in the sense of like gentle parenting, but like he didn't treat me like a girl.
Well, yeah, you know and then when that happens, you gotta kind of toughen up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta bully around who's masculine. You gotta become a bully. You gotta protect yourself, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where did all of this knowledge come from for you? Because I know you advocate for mental health a lot.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Like, what made you interested in mental health in general? Because obviously we all have a mental health. We all struggle with mental health things.
Poor mental health, man.
Yeah.
I had to find answers, so I started searching, and then I really found interest in it because... I don't know. I really don't like it when people are in pain. I really don't. It's my passion. It's just what it is.
That's so cute.
I don't.
Because such a sucker.
You're so cute.
Such a sucker. Anyways, go on.
Oh, you're so cute, dude. Anyways, yeah, I feel like when you really, I don't know, at least for me, when you feel like you're in the depths of like the abyss, like hell, you don't want anyone else to feel that way. And so I had to search for answers for so long, and then it turned into an interest, and then I started talking about it, and then it helped people, and then I was like, oh, okay, so this is helping people. I gotta learn more. And then it's not only mental health. Like, I think mental health is connected to like philosophy, to spirituality, to like biology. So it just expands and it expands and it expands, and it's just very interesting once you get into it. It's not just the psychological stuff you hear every day about like mommy issues and daddy issues. It's deep, you know. It's like stories.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with all things mental health too. I love like spirituality, mental health, like philosophy, these kinds of things that you're talking about. I love it too. Like, and I think same, like just struggling with it and wanting to like find a way out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But one thing that I struggle with, and you are a mental health advocate, so maybe you could clarify this for me.
Sure.
I struggle with like finding the balance between what's a healthy amount of talking about mental health. So like I get it. Like a lot of times you need to talk through things. As somebody who grew up not being able to talk about things, I really, really, truly do understand the importance of being able to talk through things that you're going through.
Okay.
You know, just even if it's I 100% hardcore advocate for therapists. I think everybody should go to therapy. I don't think it has anything to do with whether you're healthy or unhealthy. I understand that. But I also think there comes a point where mental health or advocating for mental health could become like your only personality trait. And when I say that, I don't mean that in like a TikTok trendy kind of way of like, oh, that's your only personality. I mean that in like it can't be healthy to keep digging and digging and digging.
For the person who is trying to help people or for the person who needs help?
Both.
Both. Okay, so let me see if I get this right. So for the person who's seeking help, are you saying that what if they get stuck in the like victim mentality of, okay, my disorder or my mental health is my whole personality and I'm here and I'm a victim? Is that what you're talking about?
Kind of. Can I give you an example?
Yes.
Okay, so like I struggled a lot with mental health growing up, and I always suppressed it. I was the kind of person where I buried myself in like school and in my career, where I was like, okay, like I'm fine for as long as I'm successful and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was at the height of my career.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to take a break.
Burnout?
Because it wasn't even burnout. It was like I took a small break and everything caught up to me.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, and I felt like all of my 20-something years of like trauma just came at me, right? So I was like, I'm going to take some time to unpack. So I literally took time off from everything. I came back from Chicago. I stayed with family. I brought myself closer to my family. I tried to, and to a certain, there was almost an extent.
Yeah.
When I was trying to unpack, I was taking these things that were in my mind and bothering me and issues that I had suppressed for so long, and I was unpacking them. It was helpful. And I was talking with a therapist. I was talking to my friends, my family. I was staying close to people that I love and that love me. But it got to a point where digging too deep into my mental health to try to figure out, okay, well, what else is wrong with me? Like, what else is going on? Why do I feel that way? It made me worse.
Okay.
Is that, did you know what I'm saying? It made me like overly fixated on problems and on mental health. And that wasn't, it made it worse for me.
What got you out of that state?
Doing things.
Okay.
Movement. Having momentum in life again. And I don't mean like throwing myself into work again. I mean like I started, as stupid as this sounds, I started taking classes that I've always wanted to take. Like,
what was the purpose? Why did you do that?
To gain movement again?
Yeah.
Why did you out of my head.
Okay, so you were aiming at, what were you aiming at? Because you're now in a place where things are getting worse. You're stuck in your past memories and you're like, you feel horrible. And then you suddenly decide, okay, I'm going to take classes that I've been wanting to take. You have an aim in mind, right? What do you think your aim was at the time?
That's interesting. That's a good question.
Yeah. You did it for a reason, right? Why do you think you did it?
To find who I was, like to find myself.
Okay, so maybe, so you see what I mean? Like, okay, did you find yourself?
I'm working on it.
Okay, so you're working on it. Are you building yourself?
A little bit.
Okay, do you have a vision of who you want to be?
Distorted, but it's, you know.
Okay, so you're on a journey. You know, I think that's mental health. The point is not to go back and keep digging to, you know, to open up your wound. It's kind of to analyze what needs to be done for you to move on with like an aim that is upwards. So, for example, you say, okay, this is bad. I want to discover who I am. I want to do things that I like, and I want to build myself into something good, because this is not good, right? And that's kind of what you did. You kind of started going to classes. You started, you know, kind of reinventing yourself, perhaps. You're doing this podcast. You're saying it's blurry, but you're creating a vision. That means you're going towards something. So if the purpose of looking and digging through your mental health is to stay there, not good. But if it's a problem that you're trying to understand to find an answer, I would say that's good, because mental health is not the only problem in life. We have so many different problems, right? Financials, I don't know, relationships, right? Like your social life, your health, body. So a balanced life, a good life is where everything's in balance. So how can it be in balance when you find a problem and you try and address it? So if your problem, if your mental health is out of balance, it's important to look into it, but you don't want to make it into your whole personality, like you said, because that's just being stuck in it. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. But does every mental health problem have a solution? Because like I feel like I know that's such a weird thing to say. Like it's such a deep conversation to have because obviously it has so many facets to it. But like certain, I'm gonna say this as stupidly as possible because honestly, like it doesn't matter. Just to get the point across, like certain things, I feel like at some point it's just like I know this sucks to say, but you just kind of gotta get over it. Especially in the kind of world that we live in, by the time you spend so much time and effort like fixated on this, and as valid as that problem might be, trust me, I've experienced so many issues with my own mental health.
Yeah.
And as valid as the problem might be and as bad as it might hurt, if you slow down too much to fixate on the problem, other things will fall out of place that will make it 10 times harder for you to recover. You know what I mean? So it's like what's the threshold? At what point do you just think, okay, like I think I've done enough work on this one thing. I need to move on. I need to move on to something else. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I think I get what you're trying to say. So are you saying that I think you see that slowing down and attending to that problem as a weakness, and I think you perceive the world as a like the way you're looking at
capitalist fact. I'm so interested in this.
No, because it's like, okay, this is my can I psychoanalyze? I'm psychoanalyzing.
No,
is that okay?
I love that. Please do.
It seems like you've had to deal with big challenges in life, and what's happened is that your mind is telling you there's threat everywhere, and if you slow down and if you get stuck in your problems, it's all like chaos is going to unfold itself and you're going to just be thrown into chaos, and you can't afford to do that. So get on with it, get over it. You got work to do. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and also that whole conversation sounded like something like my dad would say to me.
Like, there you go. So that's his voice telling you you can't afford to have feelings. You can't afford to slow down and heal. Life's not going to wait for you. Get up, get your shit together. No one cares. You know what I mean?
But is there no truth to that?
There is, yeah, life is very, there's so much in the unknown that can spill into your life at any moment. And you have to be equipped to deal with it. But guess what? In order to be equipped to be the person who you can count on to show up for you and do the best thing possible when chaos is, it's there. It's knocking at your door. You have no choice but to answer. You got to be the person who does the work. And by doing the work, I mean to be in a mental state that is healthy. And you got to do the work to get there. That doesn't mean... So when you talk to me, I know that you have this whole perception of what it means to go through your mental health problems, right? And to you, it's something negative.
I love you so much right now. I'm sorry. Go on. This is my favorite thing to do ever. Anyways, go on.
To you, it's something negative. To you, it's like, I don't know, something's hurting, I think. It's like, I should just get over it, man. I'm not going to be able to fix it or feel better about it, or I don't have time for this, or I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something there. I have to like talk to you a lot too.
To be honest, like part of the reason why I even started this whole journey is because like I spent so much like hiding behind my problems and like pretending like I was okay. And I was like always hiding behind my accomplishments, and like, you know what I mean? And it got to a point where I was like, as lost as I am, as confused as I am, I'm just going to start this podcast and just start talking to people.
Why was that important to you?
Because I was like, I'm not I waited so long to be at a point where I deemed myself worthy of being someone that like deserves like respect and recognition and whatever, that I got sick and tired of it. And I was like, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm there or not there. I'm going to start something now that could potentially help people who are also stuck. Like, I don't want this podcast to be a thing or anything in my life to be a thing where it's like, I did it right, so follow me. I want it to be a thing where it's like nobody really knows exactly what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean?
So you're creating a platform for people to be able to come and talk about the fact that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like just be themselves. Be yourself.
Well, that is mental health, bro. That is unpacking.
But I can only do this on Tuesdays. Wednesdays and I might crash out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm being dead ass. But like, to be honest, like, I was always the black sheep of my family for that reason, where I was like, I don't give a fuck how many bills you have to pay, how whatever, this and that. Like, it's your mental health. Would you say that if it was your physical health? Like, you need to take time off to, like, work on it and whatever, this and that. But as I got older and, you know, adult life started adulting, I was like, okay, like, I have to balance it.
Oh, wait, okay. So I think what we're talking about here, it's so difficult because, again, mental health is such a, like, umbrella term, is that the word?
Yeah.
So you're talking about when your mental health is poor, you can't like put a pause on life? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, like you can't like, but it's so fucked because people don't understand. If you let it build up, if you let your mental health problems or things that you're struggling with build up, which in my case it did, so I can speak about this confidently, it will get to a point, and it did for me, where you literally cannot do everyday tasks. I'm not talking, not even go to work a job. Go to work a job, fuck that. I hadn't seen the sun for 6 months when I was, you know what I mean? Like, when I was, like, at the peak of, like, my struggle with, like, my mental health issues. But it almost was like an OCD thing, if that makes sense, where it's like, I was like, I have to figure this out so I can stop being this way.
Yeah.
But the thing that helped me wasn't figuring out why I was that way. It was coming to terms with the fact that I don't know and I might never know. And I have to figure out a way to still live a good life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I have to figure out a way to, like, not care as much. You know what I mean? And I don't mean not care as in, like, ignore it. I mean, like, it's okay. Everybody's a little bit fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not saying that means don't work on it.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know exactly what's wrong with you at all given times and be this very self-aware, like, well-rounded person at the age of 25. Like, you know what I mean? People are on their fucking deathbeds and
that's not gonna happen. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of where I'm, like, that's the balance I'm talking about of, like, working on your mental health, but, like, also understanding that, like, it's okay. Go do something else. Take a break from your mental health. You know what I mean? Like, not every day is a mental health journey. Sometimes you could just do fuck all. You know?
That's true. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I was thinking about it more as a not mental health as in, okay, I'm depressed, I'm not going to do anything, but more like your journey of growth in life, of turning into the person you want to turn into. Because mental health is not always I'm depressed or I'm anxious, you know?
Yeah.
It's being a healthy person who can communicate, who can make plans, who can be honest with themselves, who knows who they are and how they show up in life. It's so many things. Again, it's like philosophical. It's not only I have poor mental health and I gotta go to a therapist so that I'm not depressed. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. It connects, though. Mental health is very, like, this topic in general is very complex, and people are very complex people. Yeah. And that's something that's actually helped me. So if anybody, like, can kind of relate to what I'm talking about right now in terms of, like, being so deep that you feel like you can't even, like, do anything in life.
Yeah.
One of the things that helped me is actually realizing that, and, like, realizing that, you know, like, people are complicated people.
Yes.
Us being people. You can't always figure people out. And if you can't figure people out, you can't sometimes figure yourself out. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And, like, you just kind of have to, like, be.
I think what you're talking about is radical acceptance. So you're saying that I was in that state, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to wait to be this person until I feel like I deserve recognition and I deserve to have a podcast and I deserve this and that, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
So you saw yourself at your worst and then you said, you know what, I have radical acceptance for you. I still think you deserve to live a life. Go live it. Enough.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what you're talking about,
yes.
Radical acceptance.
Is that what
that
that
is? Yeah. That's very important because some people can't make peace with the fact that, okay, you know what? This is me and it sucks because they can't accept it, they can't give themselves love. They need to go to a certain place and be a certain person in order to move, in order to be able to grow. But you can never have that. You got to meet yourself where you are. I always say this example. Imagine your kid comes home and they got like a really bad grade. You have two options. You can say, what a piece of shit. I spent all this money on you. Look what you're doing. I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Go into your room. Think about what you fucking did. Or you can say, you know what, buddy? You can do better. I think you can do better. How can I help you, right? It's like, which kid will get the better grade?
Yeah, the second one for sure.
Yeah, so how do you treat yourself? You're like, I'm not gonna love you until you get your shit together, no longer depressed, anxious. I'm like, you're such a weak-ass person. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not trying to do it. I want to love myself.
But the radical acceptance is that I don't need you to have your shit completely together for me to believe in you or think you're deserving. So you know what? Let's meet each other where we are and let's go live life. And that is the only thing that'll open up the way for your healing or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't really... And it's fine. No one's fucking perfect.
I'm learning, I love this podcast for that reason. Because sometimes people will just come on and I'll be like, hey, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
And it'll always kind of catch people off guard, where it's like sometimes people don't want to talk about what's on their mind.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot, actually. This podcast has taught me so much about people.
That's good.
And it's like, you think I'm overanalyzing you right now. You're like, what has it taught you about me?
No.
It's taught me so much about people because it's like, I noticed patterns amongst like things that people are not comfortable talking about or things that people do want to talk about.
What are some stuff that people are not comfortable talking about?
It's honestly, if I tell you, it's interesting. So far, most girls don't want to talk about relationship stuff. Most guys fall into two categories. Either they don't want to talk about what they do, meaning their job, like their business. They're like, I don't want to talk about it. And it's always coming from a perspective of like, it's not where I need it to be, so I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or it falls into the second category where it's like, all they want to talk about is their job and what they're doing.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I like seeing that, and it's been so healing for me to see that, where I'm like, okay, so there's things that everybody's ashamed of and doesn't want to talk about. There's things that people aren't ashamed of, but necessarily haven't gotten to a point where they're proud to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that kind of like made it a lot easier for me to just like sit here and be fucking awkward as shit at the beginning, or like be anxious as fucking meeting you for the first time.
That's real.
Where it's like, that's how people are,
That's
like
how
we're people.
are.
Like,
it sucks that we always try and fucking act perfect online. I hate that. I hate it so much.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, like real talk, like, we can cut this out if you want to, like, just like honest, because that's something that I really struggled with when I noticed that people were watching my every move and were invested in my life. It absolutely drove me into a panic attack. So can you tell me what that's like for you? Like, what do you feel like when you know that so many eyes are on you, when you know that people are judging you? You know what I mean? People have opinions about you or what you should be doing or how well you're doing. How does that affect you?
How does that affect me? It doesn't affect me as much anymore. I can tell you why.
Why?
It's been a long journey, honestly. I've been doing this for like 5-6 years, and it's been very intense in the past few years. Obviously, me, like most other people, not every other person, but most other people, you care about what people think. That's like initially your reaction to the world. I care about what people think, especially if you grew up in Iran, because you're always compared to other people in your family.
Yeah.
That's how family members treat you. Like, look at your cousin, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be this, you have to be that. Like, love is never unconditional in our culture. I feel like you always have to look a certain way, talk a certain way, feel even a certain way. If you're too sad, no one wants to, like, hang out with you. If you're too this, you have to always be bubbly, like, whatever, right? So especially coming from Iran, you're always like, okay, I care what you think because I've been told I should care about what you think, right? So you get online and you put on a persona and you're afraid. But for me, what happened is that I was thrown into like a world of people judging me and hating on me intensely. I don't know how much you know about this, but a few things happened that brought so much hate my way, And this was good because at a certain point, you know how they say like face your fears? When you get so much hate and judgment, it comes to a point where you're like, it didn't kill me. I'm fine. Yeah. And you kind of stop caring, but that's not the only thing that happens. So that's one part of it. And when I tell you that I know a lot of stuff because I keep trying to learn about it, this was my journey. So at that point, my mental health journey or whatever my growth journey was, what do I do? People are hating on me. I'm feeling depressed, anxious. What do I do? So, for example, I read this book called The Courage to be Disliked, right? And this book is about this philosopher who's also a psychologist who practices Adlerian psychology, which is like psychology that has everything to do with like your interpersonal relationships.
I love that.
Yeah. And then he's talking to this youth, this guy who's like, you know, your average Joe, whatever. And the whole book is a conversation between the two. And as this conversation unfolds, you start to understand the theory that this guy is talking about. And the whole point is that in order to be free, you have to gain the courage to be disliked by other people. Because if you want to be free, you got to be able to risk not being liked, because you got to think, you got to talk, you got to act, and someone's not going to like it, right? So it's like, okay, I don't like what people think about me, but what are you giving up? You're giving up your freedom. And it's like, okay, why do I care about what people think about me? I do care about what people think about me still to this day, but not just anyone.
People you care about.
People that I respect, you know? People that I look up to. You come and tell me something, I'm like, oh shit, you're right. I should work on that. I thank you, actually. Even enemies, bro. I'm telling you, having an enemy is not a bad thing because they kind of like...
You sound like Kanye right now.
Really?
I love my haters.
I love my haters. No, really, because maybe there's some wisdom in what they're saying. Maybe they're the reason why you have to up your game. You have to ask yourself important questions, maybe, right? And then there's this quote by Carl Jung that really helped me. He's like, the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't have an answer, it will tell you who you are. So if millions, thousands of people are telling me you're this and that, if I don't know who I am, I'm going to believe them. I'm going to be, you know, my confidence is going to start shaking. Who am I? I'm going to like spiral into like chaos again. But if I have the courage to be disliked, if I know who I am, and if I respect who I am enough to only care about people who I look up to, and if the world keeps spinning around because I'm not even that important anyways, you know, it's like, oh, people hate me. Okay. So what? You're not as important. You're not that important. Like, I love myself, but who gives a fuck? I'm just a person, you know? All of that has helped me be in a place where I'm like, I'm fine, dude. I don't care. I really don't care.
Do you think it has anything to do with personality, like different temperaments, different types of people?
How a person handles this?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Yeah. I don't take lightly to people. It's not people disliking me that bothers me. I don't care about that. I genuinely don't care about people disliking me. It's I don't want to bring people anything but happiness. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to piss people off. You know what I mean? So when I'm doing something that's like 100% me and it pisses people off or it upsets people or whatever, it really I don't like that. It hurts my feelings. It actually, it hurts my feelings. I don't know how else to put it. And that's why a lot of my life I developed, this is so crazy to talk about, but I have so many different personas. And, so many different types of people that I am in front of certain people. I'm a completely different person in front of my family. I'm a completely different person in my professional life. Yeah, I'm a completely different person around my friends, depending on what kind of friends they are and whatever. And for me, like, for example, like, like I made music a little bit, like Mama Dawn was like my artist name, and that turned into like something my friends and people call me anyways. So I kind of like resonated with that, so I kept that name. But all of these different things that people call me, they're all different like personas. You know what I mean? And that was almost like a defense mechanism for me, where it was like, if I'm a certain persona and people don't like me, it doesn't hurt my feelings because it's not really me. You know what I mean?
Why does it hurt your feelings so much?
I feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like I'm disappointing people. I've always had a thing, even in my family dynamic, where it's like my thing is to be positive and happy. Like, that's how my family kind of knows me, where it's like when I come around, like all of my cards, my birthday cards, I've kept all of them. My brothers are like, you're the funniest sister in the world. Like, you know what I mean? So I've always developed this thing where it's like I'm always trying to like be happy and be positive and be like that, like.
And what do you think happens if you're not?
I feel like people are disappointed. And I feel like maybe if I'm not, then I'm not. And I'm just being completely honest. I'm literally just saying whatever comes to my mind. Maybe I feel as though like I'm not worth like, because I feel like that's my thing. So if I'm not that, then what am I?
So you're not worthy.
It's not that I'm not worthy necessarily. It's like, what am I? What am I?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I've always been the funny friend. I've always been the friend that has had my shit together. You know what I mean? I've always been the upbeat, positive, like everybody, like in one day, my boyfriend could tell you this, like we literally just got out of bed and I got 3 back-to-back phone calls from 3 different friends that needed help with something mental health related. And I had just woken up. Like, I'm that friend for people, you know? And that transfers to other aspects of my life, where it's like, I feel like when I'm not fulfilling that, when I'm not being a positive influence on people, when people are not laughing when they look at videos of me, or like smiling or happy with what I'm doing, I feel like I'm letting them down and not fulfilling my purpose. If that makes sense.
So when that happens, it means that you're not fulfilling your purpose. And that's why it hurts.
A little bit. Yeah. Purpose is a huge thing that for me that I'm currently struggling with. And when I say struggling, like, I feel like I'm just like, frankly, I think I'm being more honest than everybody else is willing to be at this current moment. I don't think I think the way that we perceive purpose is wrong. I think the way that kids are taught to look at purpose is, even when you hear the most inspirational like TikTok video of like a young man talking to young men, it's always like a find your purpose and be that and just embody that and go do it and whatever. And that's supposed to be very inspirational. But to be honest, as somebody who struggled with things like that, it's not inspirational, because purpose is not linear like that, in my opinion. Your purpose is not to act a certain way. Your purpose is to just be who you are. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what fucked me up in a lot of ways growing up, is always like thinking of like, there's a purpose, there's a thing that you're good at, and you have to find that thing and you have to make it your whole life. You know what I mean? And that's you. That's your personality. That's who you are. It's like, I have a million different things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's and some of them I don't want to be my whole life. Some of them I don't even want to play out.
So what does purpose mean to you right now?
Honestly, at this very moment, I would say my purpose is to just be exactly who and how I am.
And who are you?
I'm somebody, in my opinion, I'm extremely empathetic towards people. I love people. I know some people cringe when you say this, I love people.
Okay.
I love talking to people. I love broken people. I love not broken people. I just love people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's who I am. And I'm at a point in my life where I haven't fully developed myself. I'm still working on myself. I'm someone who really appreciates being well-rounded as a human being, you know? And I'm broken in a lot of ways, you know? And I'm okay with that. And I'm just at a point in my life where I just want to be that. And I want people to look at that and, like, still find beauty in it. You know what I mean? And be like, that's dope. You're making me cry. I hate this. It's okay. It's inside out. I'll allow it. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
That's kind of where I'm at.
You want to be you and be valued as who you are and be loved. And it hurts when you show people that and then you get backlash because you're like, shit, right?
Yeah, and I part of the reason why you asked me why does it hurt your feelings when people don't like you, to be honest, I know this is such a random thing to think about, and like I've probably done too much digging for my own good, but I think about that in terms of other people. Like, I have two little cousins, they're my whole world. You know what I mean? I've raised them since they were little, like, basically, you know? And it's like, it hurts my feelings to think that, like, they will have to live in a world where they're gonna feel how I feel. You know what I mean? Or be responded to the way that a lot of people are responded to. It's like, nowadays it's hard. Like, it's hard for people to just be themselves and feel like they're worthy and get the love and positivity that they deserve. You know what I mean? And it's such a real thing, and people don't really talk about, like, we're people, we make mistakes, you know, even like cancel culture and whatever. You know, this is so random.
Unforgiving.
But you know what? Can I tell you something? When I hear about somebody getting canceled, no matter who they are and what they've done, it breaks my heart. And the reason why is because I think instantly of, like, this person has worked so hard to build this thing that they're proud of. And now, over whatever it is, something that they don't know, arrogance, ignorance, whatever, they get all of that ripped away from them. And the number one thing that comes to my mind is they probably have so much anxiety right now. You know what I mean? And those are the types of things that I think about, and I'm like, these are the types of things that would make people want to, like, trigger warning, but like want to like kill themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you've worked your whole life, you've built empires, and your fans are like your people and whatever, and you've, you know, like, you've built your whole personality around these people, and it just gets ripped away from you because you
made a mistake.
You know what I mean? And like, that really makes me sad. Like, that kind of stuff is why it makes me sad when people hate on me. You know what I mean?
I do. I'm just really enjoying you right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know what? I'll give you this though. You have a very you have a very comforting presence, and it makes it very easy to talk to you. I'm sure people have told you that before.
Thank you. I'm happy that's very valuable. You know what? Do you understand how valuable this is? What you embody? You're merciful. Do you know? How much do you know about the fact that this is very valuable?
I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, you know?
What does it feel like?
I tried. Is this? I feel bad. Like, I brought you here to talk about you, and I'm just like,
I'm enjoying it.
The switching the seats was foreshadowing what's happening.
Not the foreshadowing. Tell me.
So I'll give you an example, right? I have a brother, and sweetest person in the whole wide world. Like, sweetest person in every way, like, cares about people, just very sweet person. He's taken the complete opposite approach that I have. Which is, mine was, when I got to a certain age, I was like, this is not okay, this is not okay. I need to figure out what made me feel this way and make sure I never let anybody else feel that way. So I dug and I dedicated myself to what we talked about, mental health and spirituality and getting to know myself and finding my purpose, whatever that might be, or whatever. And I kind of made that like a very, like, on the top of my list of, like, priorities. For him, it was very much, I don't want to think about that. I'm a new person now. I'm older now. I'm, you know, like, if I've lived this much of my life in negativity and whatever, now I can live that much more of my life in positivity. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to, like, revisit that. And I don't want to talk too much about that because that's something that, like, I'd have to talk, like, he'd have to talk about that.
Yes.
You know? But I always used to think that that was wrong.
Why? Yeah.
I always used to think that that was wrong. You have to, like, face, like, the things that you've gone through. You have to face, like, the things that have hurt you, the people that have hurt you. You have to, like, there's no way around it. You have to go through it. Like, that was kind of, like, my thing.
Okay.
But then, like, I got to, like, an age where I realized, like, you should not force people to do that. Or even, to be honest, I started taking very seriously the idea of telling people to dig into their mental health.
Okay, I see.
Some people are not ready for it. Some people will never be ready for it. You don't know what people have gone through. Maybe the quality of their life would be better if they just ignored it for the rest of their life, depending on the magnitude of what they've gone through. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you invite people to do these, and it comes from a good place of, like, wanting people to do the work and wanting to connect with people. That was my thing. I wanted to connect with my brother, and I felt like for as long as he wasn't facing these things, we weren't able to connect, you know? But you can't do that to people because sometimes, like, people are not ready for it. It's not like a, you know, so when you're saying, like, do you know how important it is that, like, you're merciful and you're this or you're that? It's like, sometimes I feel like I'm a reminder to people that they need to reflect and they need to work on things and whatever. And I don't know if people like that. Sometimes I feel like it could be a little, like, triggering for people. You know? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. There's two different things you're talking about. Being merciful is different than... Okay, so you're merciful, that's a whole different thing. And you are. Because you understand that human beings make mistakes and you don't cast the first stone. Do you know what it means to cast the first stone? That's like a...
Tell me.
That's a story. Okay, so there was this girl who was being stoned to death, who was supposed to get stoned to death. It's a Jesus story. So Jesus walks in. These people are just circled around this girl because she's done something wrong, whatever, right? And then everyone's like holding a stone in their hand and they're about to cast it. And then he looks at them and he's like, if you can say you've never sinned before, you cast the first stone. And everyone's just ashamed and they drop the stones. And then Jesus, like, holds the girl's hand, picks her up. She's like, "You're good. Just do better."
That's such a
right?
sweet story. Yeah.
Don't cast the first stone. And it's for you. It's like two things you have: humility and courage. Humility because you understand that you're no better. You understand that you make mistakes, so that brings you to a place of having empathy for other people and not liking cancel culture, no matter who they are. You have the humility to understand that could be me. You hate that word?
Yeah.
Tell me.
It's hard to say humility.
Humility. Okay, that's why. Because you are humble, man. You understand that how low we can go as human beings, and you don't have that ignorant narcissistic quality of not being able to empathize with the worst, even who are getting canceled, right? You have empathy, and then you have courage because not everyone is courageous enough to do the digging that you're talking about. That's why when you hold up a mirror and you're like, hey, you got to do that, people are like, no, I don't got to do that, because it is hard. It's so difficult. It's the most difficult thing to do in life, really, facing your shadow, facing the dark parts of you that are within. You don't want to do that. All you want to do is not do that, right? So it's, if you first you have got to have humility to admit that you got to do it, because a lot of people don't admit it. They're like, I don't need it, right? And I'm not talking about your brother. I'm just talking about in general. You know, they don't take the accountability. They're not willing to look because it hurts so bad. And they're like, I don't even need it. It's not even there. And then you got to have courage to go and face that fucking monster that is like the worst thing you could face. But these are different things. You're merciful, but then also there's a piece to this, and that is you gotta have like this separation of tasks. It is, everyone's gotta carry their own cross. You can offer, hey, I think this will, serve you, and if it's not taken, and if not, it's not your task to push it, right? Just take it away. Again, don't cast pearl before swine, which means do not. That's a Jesus quote as well. Which means when you have something valuable to offer, if it's not taken, take it back, because it's just you're not going to be appreciated, and it's going to go to waste. So take it somewhere else, right? So it's good to hold up that mirror, but if the person's not ready, you got to trust their own journey, right? And then let them do their thing and trust that. And not everyone's supposed to get a happy ending, and that's a hard pill to swallow.
I know. Like, it's crazy because, like, I don't know, like, I had a certain, like, very, very, very traumatic, like, experience, like, lately. Like, one of my really close friends passed away.
I'm so sorry.
And, thank you. And it made me think of like, what is the line of like accepting people for who they are? This is really hard for me to talk about, but I think it's important. Of like, what is the line of like accepting people for who they are, but also being like real and like recognizing when people have certain problems that need to be pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, for the majority of my life, I was the kind of way where I was like, if I saw something that I thought was problematic or something that I had gone through, I would instantly say it.
Yeah.
Dude, don't do this. Trust me. Like, this is like whatever. And I would always like, I learned to always tell people like, the only reason I recognize this in you is because I have the same quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's not judgment. It's like I feel you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I was always coming from that perspective. But then I got into a fight with one of my very close friends, like a very, very bad like argument. And she was like, you know, I feel like you don't ever like love your friends for who they are. You know, like you're always trying to like change your friends and criticizing them and making them feel bad. And honestly, in the moment that made me feel so defensive because I was like, that is the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I would rather I did not give a shit about anybody, you know what I mean, and just focused on myself and just let people be people.
Yeah.
You know, but when I see something, I always felt a need to, but that experience of almost losing my friend and hearing the way that I made her feel made me go the opposite way. So then now I was like, okay, like I'm gonna like nothing. Like unless people ask me what I think about something they're doing, like I'm not gonna offer my opinion and I'm just gonna love people for who they are or whatever. But honestly, that quality and have like accepting my friends for who they are really made me miss some really, really important signs in my friend, that my friend wasn't doing okay and that I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like when I talk about this, like I know it's so weird to say, but my perspective was, okay, like, yeah, he might be a little fucked up or she might be a little fucked up, but aren't we all? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I developed that kind of thing because I realized I was hurting people by criticizing them or by trying to help them, you know? And that specific quality that came from a place of like goodness and love is ultimately something that like prevented me from being able to like help my friend. You know what I mean? So that's also something that I really struggle with, where it's like, I love the fact that like, you know, like I love this journey that I'm on right now where it's like I'm telling people to be who they are and to accept other people for who they are or whatever. But there's also boundaries to doing that. You know what I mean? And that's also something that I'm learning, you know? And social media has made it so hard. You would know this better than anybody. Of everything fits into this bucket or this bucket. There is no in between. You know what I mean? You're either a hippy dippy, head up your ass type of person that doesn't have any common sense or whatever, or you're a fucked up, square, rigid individual that doesn't understand any empathy, you know? But it's like, it makes it seem like that way, but people are not like that. You know what I mean? You pick certain things from each category that resonate with you and that, you know? And that's also another thing that I struggle with, but when did this become about me?
Well, I'm interested in learning about you.
That's so funny. When did you get into like spirituality? I know tell me a little bit about that. What is spirituality to you and when did you like gain an interest in it?
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I want to give you a hug.
That was
I want to give you like my heart.
That was a good. You're good.
I want to acknowledge you, man. That's a lot of emotions.
You're good.
You poured your heart out. We don't need to move on to me. You matter, you know? It's important.
You're so cool. No, that was good because the energy was good. We talked about some really like deep things, but then it like I like that. You're good at what you do. You should get paid to do this. Damn, that's amazing. But also one thing that you will learn about me, I am that person where it's like I can very easily move on from.
Oh, I know.
Because I like every type of conversation equally. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you have any things that you want to add before we move on? I should have asked you that. That was rude of me.
From this conversation?
Yeah.
No, man, only that, there are no simple answers to complicated problems, and you're figuring it out. Yeah. And you have some good qualities, that you can learn how to communicate and integrate, and just there's a light within you and it needs to expand, right?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, and don't listen to the boxes. Like, if you think you have something to offer to the world, learn how to offer it, if you see it, but don't suffocate it completely. And know that it's just a journey. Like you said, no one has it completely figured out, but you can get there, right? And you're doing good. I hope you know that.
I think, like, the one thing that I'll say before we move on to something else is, like, if I had to say one thing about, like, what I'm focusing on for myself right now is to not put myself in situations and around people that make me feel small.
Exactly.
But at the same time, don't take up so much space that you make other people feel small.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I'm at.
Healthy relationships.
Right now, in terms of my mental situation.
That's good. That's good. That's amazing.
Thank you. And on that note, you made me cry today.
I have a knack for that, to be honest.
That's insane.
Do you not easily cry ever? Or do you?
I've never cried on my podcast before. Also, I'm an angry crier. I cry when I'm angry. Oh, okay. Not when I'm sad.
Frustration makes you cry.
So
well, I'm happy.
I don't know if I was sad. It was just deep.
It was deep.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
You came over for a podcast. I just
No, I love it.
Spent 45 minutes.
I love it. I wanted to get to know you, and this is beautiful.
Thank you.
Don't ever apologize for that.
Have you noticed that when we're looking at each other and we're talking, we divert our icon? Why do we do that?
Because we're neurodivergent.
But we did that so many times that I was like, I hope she doesn't think I'm not interested in what she's saying because I'm super tuned in.
Eye contact is difficult.
But eye contact is, with certain people, it's not hard because they're not really there. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what you're saying. Like, it takes a lot of courage to look into someone's soul, bro.
We're both really here right now, which is why the eye contact is fucking eye contacting. But anyways...
soul gazing over here.
Can you tell me, and I genuinely am not asking you this because I want to move on to a topic that people want to hear.
Ahead.
I want to hear about this.
Sure.
How did you get into music? Like, how did that happen for you? What was that? Because you've built an empire.
Not really.
No, you have. That's hard.
Really.
No, dude, give yourself some credit. That's crazy. Like, I did the social media shit, the music shit for like fucking...
You're not doing music anymore?
I'm not putting music out.
But you're making them?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Everybody asks me on my Instagram. It makes me feel bad.
You got like such a unique voice, dude.
Thank you. I wish that I was half as talented as you are, to be honest.
Shut up.
No, I'm dead ass. I'm not even saying this.
Shut up.
I'm not even trying to play with your balls. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Like, when I was going through your Instagram, I was like, holy, this is what it's like to have real talent. Eh?
No,
They say people who can't sing rap,
Who the fuck says that?
Me.
They're dumb.
No, somebody said that. I was just a fucking stupid person. Anyways. But how did you get into me? How did that happen?
And we're going to circle back to the same conversation because I got into music because I was really sad at a certain point. When I was a teenager, I was depressed. And then I listened to music like Avril Lavigne.
How old were you?
I was around, I would say, like 13, 14.
Because it's not even just like your sound. Like, your artistry is very developed for someone who's only 28 years old. Like, your art very well. It seems that way to me as a viewer.
I don't think I do.
As a listener. Really?
I don't think I do. No.
It doesn't seem that way.
No. I'm really I'm confused.
Do you struggle with that? Like, do you struggle with like creative blocks and things like that?
No. Not creative blocks, but creative identity, if that makes sense. In music. In Persian music, bro. Persian music is so weird because we have like 2-3 genres and it's from Atousa.
Bro, last time Sahar was here and she said that, she got so much hate on Instagram. I felt so bad.
Cut this out.
They were cooking her a new one, bro.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I was like, okay, guys, like, people are allowed to have their opinions. Like, this is supposed to be a safe space.
Well, let's cut that out. But
no. I'll fight this time. This time I'm ready to throw hands.
It's it's what was your question? I forgot.
My question was, do you deal with that, like creative blocks? And you said no, I deal with
Farsi,
identity.
It's different for me to find my sound, whatever. In Farsi, I've done like different genres, and what I like, people don't like. What people like, I don't like. That's a problem that I deal with. So my songs who have popped off, I don't like them, unfortunately.
Why? What type do you not like?
That flop, I like. So it's like there's a difference of taste here, and I don't know.
I think you should just go full throttle into what you like.
I'm doing like English music, which is like punk rockish. I like that a lot. That's where I feel at home. I'm confused.
I fuck with your vibe, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know this is like a really, like as an artist, for me at least, it was like one of the worst things was when people told me that I looked or sounded like somebody else. I didn't like that personally.
They tell me that too.
It's not the way you look, it's not the way you sound, it's your aura that reminds me of Billie Eilish.
That's what people say.
Bro,
but
like
they've never said
this is such a weird thing to say to someone, but even looking in your eyes.
Really?
Yeah, because you know how she does a lot of videos and like close-ups in her eyes and stuff like that? It's just the energy.
You think so? Yeah, people tell me that. I don't know. I thought it was a voice, but...
Have you read like the Art of Seduction like books or whatever?
Art of... No, 20...
The same guy that wrote...
Laws of Power. Like, Laws of Power. I've read that
guy. I think that's the same guy who wrote it.
Why do you say the seduction? Am I seductive?
Okay. No. Don't quote me on this because I read that book a long time ago and I honestly don't even remember it, like, clearly. But
all right.
There are certain people who's, like, obviously I'm not talking about this in, like, a romantic way, but, like, certain people whose, like, aura is inviting to you because it has a certain, like, childlike innocence, but also, like, a very dark, sharp contrast to that of, like, a dark... gloomy type of clash.
Is that me?
You have that.
Wow, thank you.
I love people like that.
That was the most amazing compliment I've ever received.
It's very thorough.
That was just crazy.
See, come to Inside Out Universe. We give good podcasts out here. Ow.
That was a poem within itself. Wow.
But why are you avoiding the question, though?
What was the question? I genuinely forgot.
So the identity crisis is that the music that you make that people like, you don't like. The music that you like, people don't like.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
No music.
What's the plan?
Quitting.
Are you not? Have you ever thought about that before? That I'm just not gonna make music anymore?
Yeah, I'm not.
How long has it been?
I'm making English music. That was no Farsi music. I'm just disconnected for now. We'll see. But yeah, you know what I do? I'm in the mood for like I'm inspired. I write a song. I'm in the mood for that song in that period of time. A month later, can't relate. Yeah. Don't like it. Moving on. Not her anymore.
I was having all the same problems when I was making music, but I thought I was just not built for it. So I just stopped.
No, sing.
Yeah, I just stopped. To be honest, it's you know what? Like, I swear to God, I don't mean this lightly. I mean this so heavily, actually. It's so hard to be an artist. And it's so hard to, you know, like, nowadays when you say that, you get a lot of hate because it's like, bro, like, you're not even working a 9 to 5. You make videos for a living or you make songs for a living and you have unlimited money and whatever in terms of, like, celebrities and shit. When you're still over, it's hard. It's really hard to, like, first of all, pour your soul into the hands of people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And then to constantly like keep up not just with people but with yourself.
Yeah.
You know? And
I'm not a great artist. I barely put out music. I'm not on YouTube anymore. I follow my bliss. Like I just do the most random.
My dad always used to say being an artist is not about the art that you make. If you're an artist, you just are an artist.
Well,
one of the very few useful things he's ever said to me.
I was ready for that. I knew you were gonna say something like that. I love it.
Yeah, you gotta like balance out the scales, you know?
Bro, I love humor. It really is the best thing ever.
What do you think was my best era?
Your best era?
As someone who's like on Instagram, I mean, I don't think that you see my Instagram.
Right now is your best era. You're glowing, dude.
Really?
I think so. Maybe you're masking.
I had myself a good cry before you got here.
You're masking. Yeah, you're masking.
No. I think this is the most like numb era I've ever.
That's not good.
No, it's a good kind of numb. It's the kind of numb that you were saying when you went through those hateful experiences and then you stopped caring what people had to think. I'm in that era right now where it's like, honestly, like I've been through so much in my life.
Are people hating on you? Who the fuck's hating on you, girl?
My life is very, very complex.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different facets to my life. And to be honest, that's on me because I chose to not pick a path that was already paved. I chose to go zigzags.
That's good.
And whatever. So I'm I've come to terms with that, Like I'm like, my life is probably not going to be the most straightforward life. It's probably going to be very complicated. It's going to be unconventional at times and I'm going to get stuck along the way, but I'd rather dedicate whatever amount of time I have on this planet to doing something new than something that's been done before. That. Yeah. I don't know what that new is, but right now I'm figuring out that the new might just be how I am. So I'm just being
there you go.
I
like that.
Take my slippers.
I really love them.
I'm not shy around you anymore,
I
so I can talk to you about anything.
I really love them.
I love them.
They make me happy.
You just had a thought. I saw it in your eyes.
I had a thought.
Like through your head.
I did. What was it?
I don't know. But I seen it, and it made you kind of like...
I think there's a lot about you that you don't even realize that is very valuable, but you don't even know about them. Like...
Really?
Yes.
Gas me up some more, daddy.
No, for real, dude.
I feel
for real.
Do you feel when people compliment you, do you feel
uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? I'm doing you to you.
We're not maybe some part of us feels unworthy of that compliment. It's like it's hard to invite it in and accept it, receive it. We're not ready to receive it.
My shoulders literally physically get smaller when people compliment me. Like I go like this.
In your head, I don't know, but in my head I'm like, oh, that's not enough. Like, or that's nothing. Like, you don't know the half of it. It's not, you think what you're doing is not valuable, but it is. It's hard to receive. I think it's an old wound.
Mine?
Just this idea of not being able to accept compliments and feeling cringy.
But I also feel like it's healthy to a certain extent.
Because you're humble.
Yeah, like after a certain amount of compliments, then like I get to a point where I'm like, okay, but let's also talk about you. Where I'm like, you're cool too.
But there's real compliments and there's just like fucking bullshit compliments where they're like, oh, you're this and that, and you're like, okay, fine, thank you.
You know what my go-to is if somebody compliments me? You know how sometimes
I want to hear this. Tell me.
You know how sometimes people will compliment you and then other people will be like, oh, I like your hair, and they'll be like, oh, I like your shoes, and then you're like, do you really like my shoes, or did you just say that because I said I like your hair? So I get those. You know what I always say back to people when they compliment me?
What?
Because let's be so fucking real. I did not scan your whole body and I have a genuine compliment unless I've known you from before or something and have already thought about something, in which case I would already have told you. Anyways, I always just say, aw, thank you. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, that is a compliment, that you are so sweet. And it's a true compliment.
Makes
because
sense.
you just complimented me and I think that's sweet. So,
I think I look mean when someone compliments me because I'm like, oh, thank you. I should be nicer about it. I don't know. Was I mean when you complimented me?
No.
Okay,
You're fine with it. We're good. I know it's a weird thing to say, but I get you.
You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
I think I get you too.
I get you.
I think you know that I get you.
I know. And I think you know that
I'm confident about it.
But you know what though? I like that. I like that you get me. I need more people who get me, Not a lot of people get me. You know what though?
Baby.
It's such a hard thing being such a polarizing person.
What does that mean? Can you explain that to me more? What do you mean by that?
The way people have described it to me and the way that makes sense for me to describe to you is my personality doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Why? Which is where, like, normally if you're an artistic type of person, you hold certain types of beliefs.
Uh-huh.
I'm an artistic kind of person, but I don't hold those beliefs. You know what I mean?
As?
Like, for example, when I was a kid, I was always very nerdy. I loved school, in love with school. To this day, I will build a new program that's like 5 PhDs at once. If I'm the only person on this planet doing it, I'll do it. I love school. I just love school. But on the other hand, I always, ever since I was a kid, I love to fuck around. I loved a good fuck around moment, and I loved a good like for somebody who like, even if you think about it in terms of what I do, right? Like I'm a lawyer, right?
You actually practice?
Yeah.
Well,
I know I never talk about it because I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like, who cares, you know?
No, that's crazy cool.
But
what do you mean?
see that reaction that you had, that one, that's what I mean by
Okay, I
polarizing.
see.
You know, where it's
You're
like
unpredictable, I guess.
I just do whatever. Kind of
I'm the same, bro.
I know. That's why I get you.
Yeah.
I fuck with your tattoos, by the way. Sorry.
Thank you.
ADHD
Same. I have to like look at them all because I'm interested.
The vibe of the theme of your tattoos are sick.
They're all like spiritual tattoos to me. But yeah.
They're fire.
I want to see yours too at some point.
I have a lot. I have a heart and a brain in my
Wow.
palm.
That hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, but it's one of my favorite ones. I have want to know what my favorite tattoo is, even though you totally did not ask and don't
No,
care.
I want to know actually.
Are you comfortable right now? Be honest with me.
I am. Why?
Is
my body language weird? My boyfriend always says that. He's
don't think
are you angry? I'm like,
no. I just want to make sure you're comfortable. Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable, yeah. I promise.
Are you entertained?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm loving this.
Okay, good.
Let's keep doing this. I don't want it to end.
You know what? I'm having the same thought.
But I like it a lot.
Yeah,
let's keep talking until we're out of.
I actually mean
we
that.
will.
I don't
what
mean
you
that
think I'm here? You think
I think we should hang out.
We will.
What was I telling you?
Your favorite tattoo.
Oh, my favorite tattoo. Okay. I have it under my chin.
Yeah, there's something.
I have a tattoo that says ego.
Ego.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And everybody always asks me like
why?
You know, sometimes depending on the types of questions people ask you, you're like, yeah, you don't get me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
When people see that tattoo, they go, oh, so you think you have a big ego.
Girl.
And it's like...
That's so dumb. Why would you...
This was the point. This was your head, and this is what happened. Like, who in the fuck?
My God.
But it's like the opposite. Like, for me, like, you remember when you first walked in? I don't know if we caught it on camera or not, but I was telling her, I was like, life humbled me.
Yes.
And I got this tattoo when life humbled me.
Oh,
you know when I told you everything caught up to me and my life was just a big mess? I got this tattoo because it's like a constant if people see it, it's a constant reminder to like be humble. I intentionally got it like that because
why
people...
I thought you have I told you you have humility, and here you are explaining that you're humble.
But to be honest with you, being humble is a quality that I think is very underrated. And
I agree with you.
Watch me cook, though. Watch me cook.
Cook.
Even people who are like, oh, yeah, of course you want to be humble because, like, what are you going to be, a dickhead? Like, that's being humble for the sake of other people.
Yes.
To protect yourself, I think it's a very good thing to be humble. You know what I mean? Like life will humble you, so you might as well just humble yourself so the fall from grace is not as high. You know what I mean?
That's interesting, but I think that's so interesting that you use that word, fall from grace. I think you have to be humble to open yourself up to salvation.
See? Same but different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we've met in a past life?
Yeah, maybe.
I think we have.
There's something about you for sure.
Thing that I'm just like, I've met you before.
I like
when you walked in, up until the point where you were like, oh, we've actually never met in person, it did not even register in my brain that we have not met in person.
That's so interesting.
There's
something here, bro. There's some.
I know.
I do, and I'm not saying that just because I'm like, oh, girly. There's like, fuck that. There's something calling me. I don't know what it is.
Sometimes when you cross paths with people, I believe this, and you feel the way that we're feeling right now, I think that person is meant to, like, you and that person are meant to fulfill.
Are you a spiritual person?
I am very spiritual.
Tell me more.
What do you want to know about it?
What do you believe in? What are your beliefs? Are you religious? Are you spiritual? What are you?
I'm not religious. You know what? I will say the foundation to my spirituality is connection. Like, for me, I don't know, maybe it's like that for everybody, but
connection
like
to
humans, people.
You
love
people?
We talked about this. I love people. I just always want to I want to talk to people.
What domain of spiritual belief do you think that connects to?
I don't know.
Loving people. Think about it.
I don't know.
Jesus, bro.
Really?
Are you kidding?
Dude, what's with you and Jesus? Tell me more.
Oh, I love Jesus. I'm a Jesus stan.
No, actually, no, for real, because I saw your video today, and I'm not saying this in a funny way, I just am who I am, you know? What's going on with that? Are you religious? Are you spiritual?
I'm not Christian. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be, at least not for now, because I don't like the teachings of the church. because that's made by humans. Humans are flawed. But I believe in Jesus and I try and follow his teachings. I fail, but I try.
What about Jesus? As I'm asking you this as somebody who has absolutely no ties to religion, like any kind of religion. What about Jesus specifically resonates with you?
You know this thing that you were talking about, how it breaks your heart when you're not accepted by people and you feel like they don't see that worthiness in you that you're trying to bring into their lives, right? That's what Jesus is good at. He will receive you and give you the type of love that I can't even explain, because it's like me trying to explain what color is to a blind person. It is a personal, you have to feel it, but it is very hard for people to grow in life because it's hard for them to face themselves. And why is it hard for them to face themselves? Because even if they don't realize it, they can't forgive themselves for certain things. Even if it wasn't necessarily their faults, even if it was your parents that made you feel unlovable or unworthy. You can't forgive yourself for not being worthy of their love somewhere in the back of your mind, right? So people cannot see themselves because they're too ashamed within. And Jesus will create a space for anyone to come as they are and to be loved and forgiven, and that creates the opportunity for you to be the best version of yourself. And when you turn into the best version of yourself, you heal the world, and that is the best thing you can do with your life. And that's why I say what your mission is connected to Jesus, because you care about people, you love people. In my language, you care about the children of God. You want to help them. And that's what he wanted you to do, right? And that's what he does. He will never do cancel culture. Let's put it that
But it's not so it sounds like it's not a religious thing for you. It's more of a spiritual thing. You just spiritually connect to a religious figure. Is that an accurate way of thinking about it?
Yes, I would say it's a path. Like his teachings show me a path to walk on, create a guideline for my life, and I try and follow that path because I believe in him and I believe in it.
I get that.
But religion is confusing.
But what are his teachings?
That's a good question. There's
like where do you look to for his teachings? Is it like the church? Is it the Bible? Is it
No, not the church. This is something interesting about Jesus. So he never wrote down anything. The Bible was written by by a bunch of people, but his disciples are the ones who wrote down what he was teaching. So he would go to these people and he would start talking to them. So when you read his word, it's as if he's talking to you.
Oh.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's stuff that he was saying to people, right? So kind of when you start to get to know him through his word, which by the way, you get to know yourself as well, it's like you're creating a relationship with him. It's like you're there.
I like that.
Because he was preaching, right?
Yeah.
So to seek him, first it's his word. Secondly, it's this show, The Chosen, it's a very good place for anyone to start because the Bible is hard to read. What is thyself and thy? You know what I mean? That's difficult. Yeah. But this show, anyone can watch it. And even if you don't care about Jesus or Christianity, this is a great show. You will love it.
It's called Chosen?
The Chosen, yeah. The Chosen. It's free online. TheChosenTV.com, something like that. I feel like
I've heard that before.
You should watch it. You will get to know what kind of a being he was. And then that can start to form a vision of who he was for you. And then you can dig deeper. And it's not good to get confused by religious teachings or the church's teachings, because when you look at the church or human beings who are religion, you think that you're looking at a representative of Christ. Yeah. But that's a person who makes mistakes and then it's a person and they might say all the wrong things. So you have to get to know him yourself. That's all I'll say about that.
To be honest with you, this is so interesting that we're having this conversation right now, because first of all, two things. First of all, the type of connection that you're talking about to having to Jesus, my grandma has to Mother Mary.
Of course.
For some reason, my grandma, she's not a religious person, obsessed. Yeah. Like in every way, just embodies like that. Mm-hmm. So
I get that.
I'll leave. So this is not weird to me. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it might be harder for other people to understand or whatever, where it's because it's like, oh, are you religious? Are you not religious? I get it. Second thing, I'm at a point in my life now where I think I could benefit. It's weird to put it that way. I want to connect with something greater. I am spiritual, so I believe in like the universe, the laws of the universe. I know I've said this a million times, but I think that we as humans teach each other a lot of lessons. You know what I mean? And there's things in a way, I feel like we all have the essence of God in us. So if you're kind to people and if you let people be themselves around you, everybody has something to teach you. You know what I mean? And in that way,
everyone's
like
a spiritual teacher.
Yeah, in that way I'm connected. But I've been wanting to like connect with something higher than us, if that makes sense, you know? And so I've been going to church on Sundays. And I know it's not a religious thing.
How's it going?
I go to random churches. Okay. So it's not like I'll go and be like whatever. I'll go to different ones because I'm trying to find one that like hits the spot.
Tell me.
I found one downtown that kind of hits the spot. Really liked it. It was a very good community. Afterwards, there was like they were like having like coffee and stuff like that or whatever, and I stuck around, and I talked to a few people and whatever, and I was like, this feels good. I could do this every Sunday. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a religious thing for me. It was like this feels good. We're all here for a common purpose. You know what I mean? I liked like the things that they were talking about and just the conversations after and just the vibe and the energy. I really liked it. So I was like, I think I'm going to come back to this one. But I've been going to different ones. So I am kind of in the market for a good Jesus connection. Is that a weird thing to say? You know what I mean?
That's perfect. It's not weird. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, now I know why I'm here.
Maybe. So how do I go about this?
You watch The Chosen.
Okay.
You pray to him. You talk to him like, hey, dude, I want to get to know you. What's up? Who are you? You know? You read his word. You know, like, just even ask ChatGPT, tell me something Jesus said and see what it does to you. See how it feels to you. Where does it sit? Right? Get to know him. Watch that show. Get to know. What do you know about him? Tell me.
About Jesus?
Yeah.
I know that he died for our sins.
Okay.
I'm being completely honest. Like, this is just what I know.
Go ahead.
I know that he is the image of God on this earth.
Okay. What do you know about his personality?
Well, I mean, given that he died for our sins, I understand that he's a forgiving person. To be honest, having this conversation even feels peaceful. So it comes like, to me, for like a forgiving character, kind, loving, like those are the things that stick out to me. And then also like, this is something that does resonate with me and that actually kind of is interesting why it resonates with me. I am a fan of people who sacrifice themselves for others. I know that we live in a society where like we're being taught more and more to like, don't sacrifice yourself for other people, you know, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, even what we were talking about earlier, like, don't sacrifice your own happiness and whatever for other people, focus on yourself. It's a lot more individualistic than it should be. And again, valid, makes sense. We live in a fucked up world. A lot of things are happening that shouldn't be happening. People need to protect themselves. You know, life is hard. I get that. But I am a fan. I do believe that there's people on this planet that are meant to maybe not have a great life. And I think that those people are people who sacrifice themselves for a greater good. And I think that those people are very far and few in between, but they're very, very necessary. And I love a good, like, sacrificial person. Like, I look at my mom that way. My mom, like, now she's having, like, she has a good life. It's nothing, but, like, compared to the kind of person she is and what she's done for people and what she's willing to do for people, she has not lived as good of a life as she should have. My mom should have had an incredible life. Like, the type of human being my mom is, she should have.
She's selfless.
Oh my God. I know everybody says this about their moms, but my mom, super underrated human being, does not have a inkling of, like, selfishness in her body. Everything she does in this life is for anything will make my mom cry. Anything. Any human suffering. Any person struggling with anything will make my mom cry. Doesn't matter if she hates them. Which I don't even think she's capable of doing. And to me, that always, like, growing up, I was like, I like that. You know what I mean? So that part of, like, Jesus for me is.
You're in for a treat, dude.
Why?
You're in for a treat.
It's gonna fuck me up. I'm gonna be crying.
In the best. Oh yeah, you're gonna cry. There's this speech he gives. It's called Sermon on the Mount, and unfortunately, I don't know it exactly, but he says, "Blessed are the merciful, and blessed are the pure in heart, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And merciful because they will also not be shown mercy to, something like that. Mm-hmm. Your mom, pure in heart, merciful, selfless. You, merciful, pure in heart. You know what I mean? And pure in heart, don't think it means you have to be a pure person. Like, no, it's shedding what no longer serves you. Mm-hmm. And merciful is selflessness. So your mom might have not, and that's what he promises. He's like, this world isn't for you. That's why it sucks. That's why when you're merciful and pure in heart, you might not think you're winning, but you're winning. You are in for a treat. I'll tell you that.
Dude, what an adventure this podcast has been.
Girl, I'm just so excited for you.
I'm excited. I want to watch The Chosen now because I feel like somewhere in my mind, I feel like somebody else has also told me about it. And also everything about this conversation.
The fact that you have a calling and you've been going to church, and here I am talking to you about The Chosen. Oh.
And it was so random too, dude. I just literally was like, I want to start going to church.
Oh, I'm sorry to tell you this. I'm happy to tell you this, but I think he's chosen you and now is kind of trying to get your attention.
He's like, come.
Yeah, he's like, come.
I want a warm hug. I want a warm Jesus hug.
The warmest, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
The warmest hug you will ever receive. It's going to blow your freaking mind.
This podcast probably sounds very random to people, but I feel like at this point it's like, it's too late. We've already gotten too deep into whatever, but feel me on this, okay? Watch me cook. I don't want to.
I'm obsessed with the way you talk. I love it. Go ahead.
I don't want to, like, sure, I want to hug. Like, after this, I'm going to hug the fuck out of you. I want to hug. This is a really, but I want a warm, like, godly hug, if that makes sense. I want to hug. This is going to make me cry. I want a hug from God, if that makes sense. I want like a, come here, like, type of, like,
oh my goodness.
You know?
I feel so blessed to be here, dude. I feel so freaking blessed to be here. God, strike me if I'm lying right now.
Why?
Because do you know how happy it makes me that I know that you're going to get that hug? You don't understand. One day we'll talk about this and you'll watch this and you'll be like, oh, I get.
And you'll be a part of my story.
Oh, dude, I'm so humbled.
But I love that you know exactly what I mean by that. It's like nobody's gonna understand you that much or get you or love you that much. So it's like I want that kind of understanding and love and you know, I want that hug. I want that specific hug.
It's gonna feel really good.
I'm looking for it. I'm out here.
It's overwhelmingly beautiful to the point where you will sob.
I hope so. I sobbed on this podcast, but
no, sob, bro. Out of breath.
You're gonna know about it. I'm gonna hit you up and be like, "Yes, what the fuck, bro?"
Oh
I have a feeling this is not the. I have a feeling this is the. And no pressure. I feel.
No, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I feel like this is the beginning of something dope, and I don't even mean like a friendship or whatever, because like you have to let that develop. But it's like a. I just feel like this connection was a special one.
I think so.
Yeah. I've been needing a special connection, so.
I'm so happy.
And it started off kind of awkward. You guys watched it. It's fucking awkward.
It always is.
Yeah, but I'm an awkward person. I've accepted that now, you know? So it's like,
Yeah. Well, it takes a minute. Damn.
Yeah, it's not easy, guys. Like, you know, some of my guests I've never met before. They're just like people that I followed online. Some of my guests come here with, and then a very interesting thing about doing podcasts that I've realized is everybody comes into this room with a different energy, you know? Like, somebody has had a shit day.
Have you ever had it like, I don't like this energy? Be honest.
I don't like this. I am. No, not like an I don't like this energy, but I've had people who were unwilling to talk.
Oh.
You know? And it's not something you guys don't go searching, whatever. It's not something that the people will, it's just you had to be,
snoop around.
You had to be here to feel it, but it was like a very like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I get that. But then that one kind of turned out to be like somewhat like this too. Where it was like, okay, like you're unwilling to answer my questions. Fuck with me. You know? So then I just kind of became the subject of the...
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, what about...
I'm decently honest, right? Like, I think so. Decently vulnerable, right? Like,
yes, I think so.
It's not easy.
You're courageous again.
I try. Because, like, it's hard for me to know, because I used to be a very closed-off person. So I don't understand. It's hard for me to understand if I'm opening up more than what is normal, or if I just feel that way because I'm a closed-off person. But I want to be, like, very open and transparent. Like, I want,
I think you are.
I try.
I think you are.
I don't know. Why do you want to ask me something that's, like, gonna, like, ask me a secret? I'll tell you a secret if you tell me this.
That's not necessary.
I'll tell you a secret.
That is not necessary.
No. I feel like we're blood brothers now. We have to do this.
What secret can I ask?
It doesn't have to be something that's gonna ruin your life. Just something that people don't know.
You want me to tell my secrets?
I'll tell you my secret too. I'll tell you a secret. Matter of fact,
so this is a trap. This is a trap.
Yes. Matter of fact, give me a genre and I'll give you a secret.
Wait.
This is. I like this challenge. Challenge me, Daddy.
Secret.
Give me a genre. A genre, and I'll give you a secret in that genre.
Genre.
I say secret because it's more fun, but it's not really like a secret. It's just something people don't know.
Like,
about.
Are we talking about tea?
Yeah, I'll give you tea. I'll give you tea, and then you decide if you want to give me tea.
Persian rappers, genre.
Why?
Because that's the tea people want to hear about.
She's like, listen, while I'm on this podcast, let me get you some views.
Let me cancel us
Persian
both.
rapper genres.
Secret.
Mm.
Do you have any even?
But like, I wasn't really Persian rappers.
You know one Persian rapper, I feel like.
Yeah, no, but through him, I met a lot of like...
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the genre of secret. This is why I'm telling you I'm not trying to be messy. I'm just saying secret to make it fun. Something people don't know. I'm a lot closer to catchy than people would assume.
Oh, okay.
And I don't mean that in like a weird way. Me and Catchy have gone through some very, very dark times together. So, like, in that way, that's why, like, I always ride out for him.
See, you're being vulnerable again.
Yes, yeah, you have a way of doing that.
I do.
I gotta hire you when I need information. Hey, have you met my friend? 3 minutes later, they're in the bathroom crying. It's crazy. But see, that's kind of what I mean. Like, things people don't know.
Genre.
I don't know why I looked at your shirt and I was gonna say bunny rabbits, but definitely not bunny rabbits.
No secrets. Yeah, I masturbated to one when I was 12.
Really?
No.
Holy! Imagine I just cropped that part out and that's the only thing people see from this episode. Okay, genre.
Teaser.
Genre. Okay.
Oops. Go ahead.
Like something embarrassing.
Oh God.
Something that to you is.
I have a tiny bladder. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you pissed yourself one time?
So I was on a date, and we had dinner.
No.
It's so much worse than what you're imagining.
Oh,
but
no.
let me cook. Okay.
I'm on a date. I love this. Okay, go on.
I'm on a date.
Okay.
We finished dinner. I have to pee, right?
Okay.
And then he's like, "Do you want to get an Uber?" I'm like, "No, we can walk because it's close by." I don't know why I said that, because I had to freaking pee, right? It starts escalating.
Oh, no.
And the fact that I'm thinking about the fact that I have to pee makes me want to pee even more, because now I'm nervous. So we're literally in the middle of the most crowded freaking street ever. And there's the main street, and then there's like these small ones, right? No. And you would hope that
the
when
level of detail you're giving me goes to show how traumatizing this event was.
These small streets are supposed to have like corners and places
like
where
what the fuck happened to a good old fashioned alley? Like,
I know. But no, there's literally windows everywhere, and I'm like, and mind you, we literally have one more minute, and we're there, we're home, and I can't. It's happening right here and right now.
Oh no.
So I'm like, bro, stay back. I gotta pee. Stay the fuck back. I gotta pee. Don't come.
Okay.
So I go in there, literally in the middle of the street, no privacy, nothing. But plot twist. Guess what I'm wearing?
A onesie.
Yeah.
Of course. Why would you be wearing something inconvenient when you're...
A onesie, girl. A onesie. As I'm taking it off, the pee has to... nature calls. So as I'm taking it off, I can't even wait like 3 more seconds till it's finally off, and I'm completely naked in this small alley. It starts happening. It's like half of it is open, and then in that very moment, the guy peeks in. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I have half this fucking onesie off. I'm peeing myself all over my shoes, and this motherfucker's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Go away."
That's so fucked up.
That
was a good genre. I picked a good genre.
Horrible genre.
I love that story, but
yeah,
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna end this episode.
Lord,
wait, before we end this episode, before I say what I was gonna say, because if I say that, we can't just abruptly end it. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course,
and I don't even mean that from like a professional podcast level of like, thanks for being a guest. Like, no, like, thank you so much for being you and like being dope and coming on.
Oh, thank you.
I loved this connection.
Me too.
So
I'm so happy. You're beautiful.
I'm a little, like, I always wanted to do one of these ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's do it together.
I've always wanted to do one of these ones. But yeah, thank you so much for...
Let's do it again.
Wait.
Ready? 1, no.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
But is there any final last words that you want to share with the viewers before we get off?
Yeah. Watch The Chosen before judging what I said about it. Just watch it. You'll like it.
I'm going to take you up on that, and I will message you, and you're going to get a random message from me at 4 a.m.
Dude, as you're watching it, when you feel things, just let's talk about it. I would love it.
Oh my God. See, this is what I said. I'm open to having girlfriends.
Let's talk. I would love it. Like, you can like, oh my God, why did this happen? This is making me feel this and that. I would love that.
I hope you really want to be my friend.
I do. Do you like sushi? What do you like to eat?
Oh, I really like seafood. I just don't like fish. I like shellfish.
You like shellfish?
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
Lobster.
Oh. Like, lobster's your favorite food of all time?
Like, a good seafood boil is...
Ooh. So we can do that. Let's do that.
Oh my God. There's no better way of getting to know someone
I'm
than
so hungry right now when you said that.
I know.
A seafood boil would have been...
Oh.
Let's do that. Yeah. Next time we hang out, we do a seafood boil.
Fuck.
And you watch The Chosen. High five.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'm gonna link all of Madgal's like social media accounts in the bio, but I'm also gonna put her Instagram here. No, you can't see it.
Put both of them.
Yeah, put both.
Because there's 2.
I'll put 2. I'll put the both. I was gonna put your main one, but I'll do both. And then so you guys should follow her. Don't try to fucking steal my new friend that I've made. The fuck? No, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna put it on the screen. Fuck that. The one time I make a friend.
I got you. Don't worry.
Anyways, but yeah, what I was gonna say before we got off this podcast to reply to your story that you told. I shit myself in the bathtub one time. Anyways, bye guys. Have a good one.